So I watched the movie Rustom today, and let's see how my experience with this went. So first of all, I want to wish you all a happy Raksha Bandhan and hope all your brothers and sisters have enjoyed today and celebrated this very special bonding. So coming back to Rustom, so how did I feel about the movie? So let me tell you a few things up front. So as soon as I got to know that this was based on a real life story, based on the real life incidents with respect to KM Nanavati, I very consciously did not go and read about it or even try and get to know about it because I knew if I did that, the element of suspense that was there, I would lose it. For those of you who already know about the Nanavati case, this movie might be a little different for you, but for me, it was completely new since I consciously did not want to know about this story before watching the movie because I felt somehow that would add or kindle an interest within me. So I somehow shut my doors with respect to knowing about this story or knowing about the incidents in any way, and I went for the movie. And I must say, I'm pretty surprised and pleasantly surprised that I liked the story. I liked what they tried to convey. Probably, I would say I liked their interpretation or their portrayal of what happened. There is obviously a few of them. I don't know, since I don't know the actual story, I don't know how many of them are very authentic and how many were fictitious. So I don't know about that. But then when you look at the story about the series of events that happened, I was really impressed. I don't know, it's something that kind of attracted me towards these kind of movies, especially if it's aged back in time, very similar to Dial M for Murder. I can watch that movie any number of time and I would still be as interested I was when I watched it for the first time. That is particularly because back then there was no technology and I would really be excited to know how mysteries were solved, how cases were solved, and so on. So, in that aspect, I did like the series of events that they tried to tell through this movie. Now, having that in mind, if you ask me, did I like it as a movie? I don't think I did because when you look at movie aspects part of it, I think they were lacking in a lot of places. Particularly, the first few scenes where it's CGI, it kind of puts you off. It's very visible. It is not believable. See, you can appreciate someone if they're putting in a good effort, to bring something that's new to the industry. But then, when you already have so much technology available, when there has been movies that can do well, I don't know why the CGI was so bad and it was so visible that it's fake and it's a movie and it's not real. So particularly when you go back in time in a movie, you would want to feel in that age yourself, right? That's the I think that's one of the main aspect why you get engaged to a movie and why you would like it so much, especially if it's a period film or a film that's aged back in time. I did not find that it totally looks staged. It could be the art department, it could be the scenery, it could be the background, it could be the costumes, it could be the makeup. It just looked too staged, too artificial. It just looked a lot polished and not close to reality at all. So that's something was very distracting for me from even following the story. So I would want a movie that is very simple. I don't. Okay, we know that people were flashy back then, but I personally have seen a lot of movies that are aged back in time. At least the story or the setup, the whole plot is aged back in time, but they were far more believable than this. Even when you talk about Akshay Kumar, during the course of the movie, yes, I did find him, apt for the character, but initially, the first shot when I saw him, it kind of felt funny to me also. I mean, looking at him with that mush and all that, although he's super fit even at this age, it kind of felt funny initially to look at him in that costume and character. But then later, I think I just got too used to it and I started liking it towards the end. Ileana Cruz obviously plays a very beautiful role. I actually felt nice that she even chose and decided to do this character because there's not a mainstream bubbly character where most of your female lead are portrayed in. So this is a character which is slightly negative. Uh, I don't know if I should call it negative, but it's just not the bubbly, most lovable character in the society. So But then I love the fact that this movie had a few human elements. Maybe it was brought from Nanavati's life, but I don't know if they did actually behave like that as a couple. I have utmost respect to both of them. First of all, because they did not portray the Rustam character as a super heroic or a super, defense person character. They just showed him as a person who's neat and, who's well bound with his own self respect and his duty towards the nation. And also, he acts very normal as a person. He gets angry when he knows that his wife has been misused and all that. So he that's human anger. I mean, he goes out instincts. The instincts within him compel him to kill someone. And back then, his wife feeling sorry about it, and then actually him forgiving her again. So these kind of things is something that I really liked in the movie. I felt more connected to that, and I felt it was very human, and I like that. The fact that Rustam actually forgives Sindhya in this movie, and then both of them walk out of the courtroom, as a beautiful, gentleman and lady, or a husband and wife. So I really like that. So it kind of felt beautiful as a couple. It kind of, gives you a message that no matter what happens, a mistake is a mistake, and you should put that in the past. If someone has realized that mistake, that's more than enough. You don't have to punish them beyond. I'm not talking about the legalities here, I'm talking about human emotions, which would keep a marriage or any relationship happy. So, although I like those part of it, but clearly, guys, when you ask me about the movie as such, whether the cinematography was good or whether screenplay was good, yeah, the screenplay was okay to some extent, but I felt the other things were just too distracting and just kind of annoying to some extent as well. There was one shot where I really liked, and I was kind of, blown away. I was like, wow. So this shot is where an interrogation happens between the cop. Okay, when I said cop, it reminds me. I think the cop, his name is Mr. Lobo, Vincent Lobo, if I'm not wrong. That this guy was more believable to be in that age than anyone else. I think this was the character that I could relate to more and say, yes, this looks like a 1959 story when I looked at him, the way he was dressed and so on. But then everyone else, they just looked two stage. Probably Vikram Makhija also was apt for that character, but then I think everyone else, it was just too artificial. So yes, this scene where I was saying the interrogation, so where Mr. Lobo interrogates Sindhya, the maid, Vikram's butler, and many other people, Vikram's sister, and so on. So that particular sequence, the way it was shot, or probably the way it was executed and presented, I really liked it. That kind of felt nice. But apart from that, I don't think there was any scene that literally blew me away. Like, wow, that's something I might want to watch again. I don't think that happened. But overall, I think I liked the story of the movie because maybe I was too interested to know what happened to the Nanavati case and what actually happened then. It could be that as a movie, it's a letdown in so many ways. So that's it. That's my opinion on Rustom. If you guys want to know what happened to Nanavati's case from a bigger picture but with a lot of fictional stuff, I think this is the movie that you should want to watch. Especially if you don't want to get distracted, if you're not bothered about the cinematography, the makeup, and the art and all, then I think you would enjoy this movie. So until we meet again with another movie, this is Uday Senan signing off.